Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy MB, ready to do the daily breakdown of the S&P 500 on the futures market. Today is Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, and going into today, I could tell it was going to be a red day. I have a 1 hour chart pulled up, so you see we have this giant rally, we have this little pullback here, and right here, this was our support zone, our critical area that we couldn't close below. So at the end of Monday, yesterday, we had this nice pump up, but then also a very sharp push down, right to close us off, or right into the market close. So here's 3 o'clock. Market closes, but we close right on top of the support level. And then at 5 o'clock, once the market opens the next hour, we drop and we get this close below this level. So it was after hours, and I don't really like taking trades overnight because obviously we sleep and I can't manage them properly. But going into this day, I was like, man, I would really want to short around here. I just don't know if we're going to go up a little bit more or we're just going to continue to sell off. So I just decided to stay out of it, but I knew that we would come somewhere in this level. I was either targeting the start of this giant pull. I really didn't think this area would be tested, but I knew that we would probably retrace this whole move. So I stay out of it. Overnight, we bust through this demand zone, break through this one, and that kind of leads us into today. So let me pull up a 5-minute chart and get into it. So you see we have this demand zone that got broken overnight, and then right at market open we have news, or it was a little after market open, 30 minutes later. We had this pump up, but then an aggressive reversal, and it takes out that whole news candle, and then we close below this demand zone. So I was still out of the market. I ended up taking this long here. I saw there were some orders there. It looked like there was a trend line that we were holding on a longer time frame. So I take a long here thinking that this demand zone would hold up. It was working for a little bit, but then I got stopped out. And then after about another hour and a half, I was like, well, maybe it's inverse head and shoulders. So I take another long, and then again, that one gets stopped out. And that's where you really get the first play of the day. And so this is another 4 hours after market is open. So we're starting to see these plays happen or develop, a few hours into the session, not immediately after market opens. I mean, there was this move here, which you could have caught, but to me, other than this previous, I guess this could have worked, this previous demand zone acting as resistance, that could have been it, but on a 5-minute chart, it was just straight up, one candle that took the whole move. So that one was pretty hard to catch in my opinion, but I do know some people that took this trade. But regardless, we got this close below this support level here. So that kind of invalidated the inverse head and shoulders thesis. So if you had taken this trade anywhere in this level with a 5-point stop, you wouldn't have gotten stopped out. But as you can tell, we kind of just hovered sideways, couldn't get a close above the 9 moving average. And then at 1:30, we had finally a nice little 10-point move to the downside, where this other demand zone finally ended up holding. So if I go to like a 15-minute chart, we had a pivot point down here. This was a demand zone, and this area was an area of interest that it was our previous all-time high that was acting as support. So that was 2 weeks ago, the best play of the week. And although it didn't quite hold exactly at 67 like it did last time, we broke a little bit below that, went to 63. On a 15-minute chart, it looks a little bit better as support. But yeah, going into the close today, the last 30 minutes of the day, a nice 20-point move to the upside. So again, I didn't take this trade, but I do know some people that did take it. So that's how I know it's a valid entry. And it was the same thesis. We had this area of interest that ended up working out. I was hoping we would get this type of move over here, but that didn't end up playing out today. So I went over 2 today. So unfortunately, the streak continues. I've had 4 red days in a row. And on top of that, most of these days I was green. It starts to work a little bit, and then I get stopped out. So it's tough seeing green and then getting stopped out and ending the day red. But we live to fight another day. Today was actually pretty brutal. I had a pretty rough day today. So just try to come back better and learn from the charts. This trend line that I have here, I actually had it placed a little bit lower to where it looked like it was acting as support. Because there's 2 types of charts that I look at. I look at the ES one and then also ESH, which is the actual contract itself. So on the ESH, it looked like this, where, you know, we get these after we break below it, we get these rejections. We had this right here and then the close below it. So this, if I was looking at the ESH contract or ESH chart, I may have staved off of retaking this trade, because I noticed that it kept rejecting after it broke. So now this trend line was acting as resistance. But on the ES chart, it looked a little bit more like this. And I corrected the ES chart, but at first it looked a little bit more like that. So as I was watching, it looked like we cracked below it, but then broke above it, and it was, you know, going to start acting as support again. But how I had it previously on the ESH, if I had just looked over there, it was just a little bit more accurate. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up today. Hope you guys had a better day than I, and I'll catch you in the next one. I love you.